On the show, in Wheelspin, we drive the soon-to-be-launched Jeep Wrangler. We drive down the memory lane and take a look at the Mini Cooper. And on the road, we drive the Fiat Linea to Sariska National Park. If you think walking up a mountain is the best way to climb it, then I tell you it's not a good idea, especially if you are as lazy as I am. I have got a better idea. I'm going to borrow a machine which will do the job just as well. The Jeep Wrangler is what we are going to drive today, and this is one machine which will easily take you over terrain you never thought of driving in. The Wrangler is a terrain buster in true sense of the term and comes with a Jeep-like high ground clearance of 238 millimeters to ensure that it goes over even the seemingly impossible to go through kind of a terrain. This is the Jeep Wrangler, a vehicle which is as American as the pizza or the hamburger. But we Indians never got a taste of it because it wasn't sold here. But now Fiat Chrysler India is going to bring the vehicle into the country. And all of us Indians who were longing to go outdoors in a vehicle which should take them anywhere, the Wrangler should be the perfect one. The Jeep was invented in the middle of the last century, necessitated by the needs of the raging World War II. American soldiers needed something which would go over anything and help in the war efforts. The answer was the Jeep, a vehicle which could be airdropped, run on railway tracks, carry machine guns, and more importantly, run reliably on different terrain to transport both man and supplies. Today's Wrangler is of course a far cry from this basic concept, but conceptually it still remains the same. Any vehicle which desires to be called a Jeep must have a 4x4 as an essential requirement, along with a high ground clearance. The Wrangler comes adequately equipped to deal with both the rough and the smooth, and is meant for people who like to have a versatile vehicle, which will not only take them comfortably for their daily commute, but also take them off the tarmac with the confidence of a vehicle which knows its business. What makes the Wrangler such an effective off-roader is this: long suspension travel, a higher profile tire and high ground clearance, and of course the 4x4 which comes with a crawl option, which means that when you need maximum power while going through difficult terrain, the ratios change and gives you the maximum torque. The Wrangler comes with a 4x4 with different modes, and the driver can choose the ratios depending on the terrain one is driving in. Changing over to the 4x4 mode is a fully manual operation, and the changeover is done the old school way with a flick of the lever, which is in addition to the gear lever. The 5-speed gearbox is automatic, but it comes with a manual mode as well. The Wrangler will be sold in India in both the petrol as well as with the diesel engine option. The one we are driving today, the Wrangler Unlimited variant. This is powered by a 2.0-litre common rail diesel unit which churns out 197 bhp as peak power and an extremely healthy 460 Newton meters of torque, which should come in very handy if one were to venture off the tarmac. The petrol variant will be powered by a 3.6-litre V6 with 280 bhp on the tap and 346 Newton meters of torque. Wrangler is not only about going crawling from one rock to another, but it's also about going pub hopping in style. This is a lifestyle vehicle And if you have it and you want to flaunt it, this is a nice way to do it. Not only it will take you off-road, but also you can travel to work in style. And she has been endowed with all creature comforts possible to make your drive comfortable. The Wrangler will be sold in India in both the 2-door and the 4-door variants. The 2-door will have a canvas soft top which can be removed. The 4-door too, which I am driving today, has a hard top, but this is removable. And once you remove it, it gives it a very Jeep-like feeling to the vehicle. The Wrangler comes with all creature comforts including individual climate control, quality sound system, adjustable steering wheel with multifunction button, and this hardtop variant came with a removable top which can be easily taken off, turning it instantly into an open-top conventional Jeep-like vehicle. The Wrangler Unlimited variant with 4 doors is also much longer than the 2-door variant, with a wheelbase which is also about 500 millimeters longer, making the cabin really spacious. Jeeps are all about an image, rugged, outdoor and even macho. And this Yankee brute here is one of the best in the business with proven capabilities and a track record which goes back over half a century. And Fiat Chrysler is planning to bring this into India in January of next year. But it's not going to be cheap. This will be imported as a completely built up unit and my guess is it will cost you somewhere around rupees 40 lakhs. If you know your cars, you'd certainly know this one. The one that changed the world with its sheer brilliance, the Mini. It was left to the genius of one Turkish engineer, Alek Kisigonis, actually now Sir Alek Kisigonis, who designed the Mini and rescued the world from driving 3-wheel cars which were only midgets. After World War II, the world was in economic crisis and during the period automobile production was severely hit. To save money, the concept of bubble cars came up which were nothing more than extremely small boxes equipped with only a small motor. These cars were meant for only in-city commute and that too in relative discomfort. To save cost, they had only 3 wheels instead of the regular 4. They cost little and ran cheap, but the problem was that they were too basic. The Mini was born to answer some of these issues. The design brief for the Mini was simple. Keep the cost down and maximize on cabin space. And that's exactly what Kisigonis and his team did. They came up with the brilliant idea of mounting the engine transversely and gave the world one of its first front-wheel drive cars. This not only saved on the cost but generated enough cabin space. If you look at the length of this car, you will see that 60% of the length of this car is dedicated to the cabin space. Simply brilliant. And it was left to another engineer, John Cooper, who turned this car to make them rally perfect. And the result was a series of wins in what is arguably one of the toughest rallies in the world, Monte Carlo, which is a combination of snow, dirt and tarmac on a treacherous winding mountain road, often with a generous dose of snow to make it even more challenging. The Mini created a record by winning the rally 3 times between 1966 and 69, and the legend of Mini Cooper was born. The first Mini rolled out in 1959 and rocked the world, but times have changed. This is the new avatar. The brand is now owned by BMW and this is a totally modern car with all the frills and gizmos that you can expect from today's cars. But the good part is it has still retained some of its old world charm, both externally as well as internally. and the driving dynamics still remain exciting. The new Mini is powered by a 1.6-litre petrol engine which comes from the BMW family and churns out 122 brake horsepower. The power delivery is smooth and linear and enough for a car the size of Mini to make it go fast. The gearbox in this Mini comes with both manual and automatic mode, and the automatic mode comes in really handy in city traffic and makes driving very easy, but it also makes the car a little more lethargic. I personally prefer the manual mode because it infuses the car with a dose of energy. What I really like about this Mini is the bits and pieces of design that has been carried over from the old one. The large speedometer in the center of the fascia is an example of this. This gives the car a nice funky touch and sets the interiors quite apart from any other car. Originally, the speedometer was placed here in the old Rally Mini to ensure that the navigator could see it as well, and this has been carried over to give this car a nice original flavor. To cater to modern day efficiency standards, this instrumentation cluster here also has a digital readout of the speed. And this, I guess, is where most of the drivers would actually focus on, making this more of an ornamentation. But I love the decoration. I would really love to drive this Mini on an everyday basis in the congested city. It's easy to drive, it's easy to park, even if you are sometimes tempted to park it this way. The new Mini can easily double up for your regular everyday car. It has all the conveniences to make it so. Air conditioning, music system, seats with adjustment for height and reach, and a fully enabled info system to keep you in touch. It is actually a 4-seater, but the rear seats can seriously cramp your style. The 2-door coupe look with convertible option gives you a great style, and the Mini is an attention grabber no matter where she goes. And if you desire the sun and wind in your face, the Mini can go topless in a matter of few seconds at the touch of an electric button. Sometimes it's nice to drive a convertible. Many of us would love to own this Mini. It has a long heritage and is part of what automotive legends are made of. And the modern day Mini combines beautifully tradition as well as modern day requirements. And I would have no hesitation in recommending this to anyone but for the price. At rupees 25 lakhs, it remains only a Mini dream for many of us. Delhi is ideally located for anyone who is interested in a long weekend getaway. In the north lies the beautiful green hills of the lower Himalayas, and in the west, the beautiful desert state of Rajasthan. In the past, we have had a few trips to the hills, and today I am headed out for Rajasthan. Not exactly to the dunes, but to catch some wildlife. And what could be a better place than Sariska, which actually had been home to many tigers just a few years back. I'm once again on the highway with my trusted companion, the Fiat Linea. The Fiat Linea is powered by the 1.3-litre turbo diesel unit, and she pumps out enough power to make driving enjoyable on the highway and overtaking quite hassle-free. What I really like about the Fiat Linea is that it's very comfortable and the ergonomics are really good. It's easy to find a spot-on driving position because the steering wheel is adjustable and so are the seats for height and lumbar. And all controls are within easy reach, and the car has a slightly higher stance as compared to the other sedans. which gives it a nice all-round visibility, as well as a driver, you get some confidence, especially when you face the big trucks coming your way. I am on the Delhi-Jaipur highway, which used to be one of the best highways in the country just about a decade back. But now with time, both the volume of traffic as well as the congestion has grown. Sariska lies somewhere in between Jaipur and Delhi, and the best way to go to Sariska from Delhi is this highway. I should be there in about 3 to 4 hours depending on the volume of traffic, but by mid-morning I expect to be in Sariska. Sariska is around 230 kilometers from Delhi, and after leaving Delhi you drive on the Delhi-Jaipur highway, and before reaching Shahpura you take the left turn for Alwar. Sariska is 43 kilometers from there, and the route turns rather scenic as you enter the forest area with undulating hills and green forest cover. And chances are you will start spotting deer and wild boar even before you enter the park. Sariska is spread over an area of over 800 square kilometers and is bigger than the neighboring parks like Ranthambore. I've just arrived in Sariska and I'm greeted by the lush green forest here and the wonderful sound of silence. Sariska boasts of a large variety of flora and fauna, and over the weekend I intend to catch up on that and also enjoy the tranquility and peace of this place. Sariska was once the hunting ground of the princely state of Alwar, and at one time had a rich wildlife which consisted of tigers, leopards, wild dog, hyenas and jackals, along with a large number of deers and wild boars. The numerous water bodies in the park also place host to a large variety of migratory birds like cormorants, ibis and even painted storks during the winter months, along with the regular residents like peacocks, grey partridge, bush quail, parrots and tree pie, which literally picks up its meals from the open jaws of the tiger and in the process cleans it up. At one time, it also boasted of a large number of resident tigers, but now sadly only a few remain, which in recent times have been relocated from other parks. The park is thickly wooded and cradled in the beautiful Aravali Valley. Historically, Sariska had a large tiger population, but over the years the numbers dwindled and finally there were no sightings. But few years back, tigers were reintroduced here, and now I am told there are 9 tigers including 2 cubs. And that for me is great news. As you drive through the forest, it becomes a wonderful sighting ground for a number of animals, like large species of deers, which include cheetal, nilgai and sambar, and also wild boars. With a little patience and time on your hands, you might even be able to spot a leopard or even a tiger. In fact, the tiger sightings in the recent months have increased as the tiger population too has grown. Deep inside the Sariska forest is this temple dedicated to Lord Hanumanji, and it is supposed to have been here for centuries. It dates back to Mahabharata age, they say, and it draws a large number of devotees every day. Sariska though has limited options in terms of places to stay in. So if you are planning a visit, do plan your stay in advance. The best options are the Sariska Palace, which has been turned into a hotel, or the RTDC Rest House, which is located next to the park gate and is far more reasonable. The park is open from October to June every year. But I had quite a nice time in Sariska, and as I had expected, I didn't quite get to see the big cat, but that doesn't really bother me because I didn't expect to see it in any case. And there's plenty of things to do in the forest. Just sit and enjoy the quiet and tranquility, that's enough. Plus there is plenty of flora and fauna in Sariska to interest anybody who loves nature. So I strongly suggest that if you have a weekend on your hands, do get into Sariska, and I guess you will have a nice time.